When we read the biblical accounts of the great leaders of the early church, we get the sense that they only partially knew what they were doing. They first thought that following Jesus meant reviving their old religion. Wrong. They thought non-Jews would be excluded. Wrong. They eventually took the gospel all over the known world, but it took surprising miracles and constant learning and updating. They didn't always know what they were doing. They just found what worked. Finding what works in life doesn't just mean finding what makes sense to us, because God's smarter than we are. Nor does it just mean finding what makes us feel better, because often feelings can't be trusted until they've really matured. Finding what works to those early leaders didn't have anything to do with finding what works for me. It meant finding the way in which God was working on earth, finding the power to perform miracles in His name, finding the power of God's presence to fill people manifestly, finding the prophetic words that told them what to do so they could travel across the world even though they had no material resources. In short, it meant learning what God wanted and how He was making the impossible possible. What eventually became doctrine, the known truths of the faith, did not come from religious tradition or from intellectual debates or from political battles. It came from a combination of the old scriptural stories of God and the direct experience of God's activity in life and in the world. Truth was live. If you want to find your way, you have to pursue a direct experience with God. That's actually how Jesus followers have done it since the beginning. No matter who you are or where you're coming from, if you want to find the way to live, the way to change the world, you can draw on the ancient stories and the established doctrines of the people of God. But you also have to interact with God yourself. So where do you go to experience God? How do you get started with that? How do you go further with it?